Tim, what would you do specifically to help your district at the state level?
My district, personally, I think needs education funding. Forest Lake has been fighting a levy now for over a year. We need to upgrade our education system in Forest Lake. We need to continue to work on education funding. We need to figure out some way to elevate education across the state. But I'm concerned with Forest Lake. It's where my kids are gonna go. We also need to work on infrastructure. We need to continue to grow business in Forest Lake and small business in particular. I think the best way to do that is by keeping people working.
Thank you. Bob?
Well, grant you, small business is really what we need in our area, in the North Metro area. But the only way you're going to do that is create a tax structure that business will want to relocate outside or into Minnesota. Transportation, I think that's a big issue. I think we have to invest more into transportation, and the money that comes out of taxing, the gas tax needs to all go into roads and bridges. I think if people want the light rail, maybe they should wait until we get our roads and bridges squared away. And I think our education, Forest Lake has an outstanding education program, great teachers, and I think we could take a look at the legislature and how we fund the different school districts. I mean, when St. Paul, Minneapolis gets $15, $16, or $17,000 per pupil, and in Forest Lake gets $10,000 per pupil, you can't tell me that you can educate a child better with that amount of money in St. Paul, Minneapolis, and not do it as good in Forest Lake or in the northern suburbs. I think we need to take a look at equity in education. That's the biggest problem. When I first came into the legislature, that was something I really wanted to do, and I'm going to continue working on that.
Thank you. We're going to begin our 1.5-minute closing statements. And Tim, go ahead.
Well, thank you for coming. I think tonight's forum has shown a clear difference between Bob and I. I have an uphill battle, but here's why I think we should retire Bob Dettmer. Bob campaigns like a moderate, but he votes hard right. He votes against consumers' rights, programs to curb bullying in schools. Bob can usually be found fighting for the big guy. Bob is not even the right champion for his own groups. He's attacked a bill to give Veterans Day off. Bob was a teacher, yet the teachers have endorsed me. And finally, Bob's voting record shows that he will vote to protect himself. He votes down any wages that hike up he votes down, sorry. I'm a carpenter, not always a speaker. He votes down wage hikes for the rest of us, but twice now he's protected his own wages from citizen oversight. Bob is smart. He likes to run like a moderate, because if people knew the truth on Bob's votes, he'd surely lose this election. We didn't even talk about the votes he's made on climate change or equal rights, but I know Bob is not right for our district. You can do it yourself and explore Bob's voting history on votesmart.org. That's where we've been looking. It's time for a new voice in our communities. My family is in this economy with you. I understand the private sector because I work in it every day, and I will fight for the good of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim Stender. Bob Dettmer?
Well, thank you, Stillwater Gazette, in sponsoring tonight's House 39A forum, and Margot Reinberger for your serving as a moderator, and for my opponent, Tim Stender, for coming in and participating. If I needed a carpenter, I would hire you. And when I meet people when I'm knocking on doors, when I meet people, there's always one question that a lot of times people ask me when I'm knocking on doors, and I knock on doors too. Why should I vote for you? And I answer by saying, I'm honored to represent and serve the citizens of Minnesota, and I want to give back to our state by ensuring that an equal place, a quality place to live and raise a family, which my wife and I were able to do. After serving in the State House for the past 4 terms, there are one characteristic that I've noticed on all my colleagues, whether Republican or Democrat, is that we all strive to serve our constituents and do what we think is right for our own communities, what our own state, and the state as a whole. Unfortunately, I believe the greatest weakness of the current majority in the legislature is failing to believe in personal responsibility. Too often, the mindset is that the government can solve any problem, regardless of its scope. In these challenging economic times, I think it's unwise for the government to continue raising taxes, and we should keep the money in the hands of the working families to help them make ends meet. Many times during my chats with constituents, I share them how the theme of the campaign came to be. And I'm going to stop there, but I have some great things I can share.
You'll have to go out now and talk to your constituents. Thank you both so much for coming. Valley